So I made 2 boxes, gave them colors, gave them margins, and then there's a mysterious gap. Like bro, where is this gap even coming from? I don't remember coding this out. Turns out it's just box model. So in this video, I will show you what box model does. So let's go. Everything in websites are basically invisible boxes with content inside it. You can see the boxes, but it's there. Everything in the web page follows a rule called a box model. The box model consists of 4 aspects: the content, the padding, the border, and the margin. The content is basically the thing itself. If you put H1 text, the content is the word. The border is the invisible box surrounding the elements. By default, it can't be seen. But once you add a styling for the border, it will appear. Then you will see the padding also. The padding is the space between the content and the border. Lastly, the margin is the space between the border and the other elements surrounding it, basically the space outside of the element. By default, if there is no other element surrounding the original element, the margin will be from the border to the edge of the page, which is also the body. But if there is an element between the original element and the edge of the page, the margin will be from the border of the original element to the border of the surrounding element. This is not as simple as you think. I will explain later on. There are a few catches that you need to know. Number 1. By default, the browser adds spacing around and inside the elements, so we need to remove them to fully control the paddings and margins. Number 2. Some text will fill the width of the entire page by default. You can fix this by adjusting the width to fit content. Now, let's see what the margin and paddings do. Right now, I have 2 paragraph elements with no padding, borders, and margins stacked on top of one another. First, I will add borders so you can see what each of these does. Next, let's add some bottom padding to the first paragraph element. Let's see what happens. There's a space below the content, between the content and the border. Adjusting the padding will change the amount of space. Next, let's adjust the bottom margin of the first paragraph. Now, let's see what happens. There's a space between the border of the first paragraph and the second paragraph. Now, here's the fun part. What do you think will happen if I add the same amount of margin at the top of the second paragraph? Nothing! Because the 2 margin overlaps. What this means is that 1 rem of margin of the first paragraph will overlap with the 1 rem of margin of the second paragraph, leaving you with just 1 rem of margin again. But if the margin of the first paragraph is 1 rem and the margin of the second paragraph is 2 rem, since they overlap and the margin of the second paragraph is more, the resulting margin will then be 1 with the 2 rem. The 1 rem of the first paragraph is basically hidden. You can fix this by doing one of the following. Instead of putting margin top for the second paragraph, use padding instead. Or add margin of the first paragraph with the margin of the intended second paragraph. So in summary, content is the actual text or image. Padding is the space around the content. Border is the edge around the padding. Margin is the space outside of the border, between other elements. And remember margin collapse. So yeah, this is how box model works. Anyways, just my opinion. Bye.